Welcome to Closed Door. I am Maria Micha, a clinical psychologist, hypnotherapist, and shamanic practitioner. For nearly 3 decades, I've had the privilege of sitting with people during the most vulnerable moments of their lives. Their struggles, emotional and mental, they're happening behind closed doors. I help them bring their subconscious to conscious and remove that veil that keeps them away from their own authentic truth. My mission is simple: to heal the world one person at a time. By bringing together the science of clinical psychology and intuitive wisdom, I hope to help you peek through the veil of what is unknown to you, what lies in your subconscious mind. I aspire to help you discover what is happening behind your own closed door. In this podcast, I will help you uncover your subconscious beliefs that shape your life and your experiences. And most importantly, I want to aspire you to turn your pain into your own personal power, to understand that difficulties and challenges are coming in our lives because the universe is trying to nudge us to take another path that is closer to what we truly deserve and who we aspire to be. Behind every closed door, there is a story waiting to be told, understood, and alchemized into your unique power. Welcome to the first episode of Closed Doors. Today, we're having a guest who's an amazing podcaster. He changed his life completely by leaving the corporate world and entering the amazing and invigorating world of podcasts. His podcast, Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay, is exploring everything from storytelling, amazing stories, transformations, and then he has another one, Listen Up Girl, where he covers LGBTQ stories, challenges, and news in the community. I want to welcome our first guest, Zach Randles-Friedman.
Thank you for having me on, Marie. I'm so excited to be your first guest.
Yeah, me too. I was on your podcast a few weeks ago and we made a really good connection. So I couldn't think of anyone better to be my first guest but you.
Thank you. We had a really good connection, and everybody that watched that episode or listened to it loved it. I got so much great feedback about you, how authentic you are and stuff. It was like you were such an amazing guest. So I'm so happy you were on.
Thank you so much. Why don't you give us an introduction about you, and then I will follow up with question. How do you want people to know you?
Well, I worked in the pharmaceutical corporate communications world for over 20 years, and I decided that my podcast, I've been doing it for over 2 years and it's doing well. And so I decided I was going to do this full time. And so this is what I'm doing. I'm doing my 2 podcasts. That's how and if I ever need to go back and get a corporate job again, I will. But right now it's working out great. I get to meet such interesting, amazing people doing this. I get to interview who I want to interview. I get to make my own schedule now. And just the people that I get to meet, like I've done almost 200 interviews over 2 years, and I've met the most interesting people. Like I met you, I make friends through this. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better career. So I think a lot of people, and it's not like me also to want to just kind of go off and do something on my own. I've had a corporate job my whole life, my whole career. So to take that leap and to do it was, it was hard, but I'm so glad I did it, because now every day I wake up and I know what I have to do, because it's all the things that I want to do and the things that I need to do for my own podcast and my own business. So it's amazing.
And you're helping the world. You're helping people understand that when they have a dream, there is fear that we have to plow through because the unknown is full of surprises, and not always the pleasant surprises. But you're an inspiration to all of us. Once you believe in something and you know what you're doing and you allow your passion to guide you, you can manifest the life that you truly deserve and you desire.
I feel like I did a lot of manifesting throughout the time. So yeah, that's how I feel.
That's the reason I wanted to have this conversation with you, because what I want people to understand is that there is more in life. There is always more, but we need to have that vision and we need to plow through our insecurities and decide that we will go in a life that we truly deserve. There will be challenges, but at the
Yeah.
end, there is a pot of gold waiting for all of us.
Yeah. I mean, after I left my corporate job and I woke up the first Monday to do this full time, there was just like this sense of relief. Like, I'm like, how did I do that for so long? And I just feel like where I'm at right now is where I'm meant to be. So I'm so happy. It feels like the best place.
Definitely, definitely. Let me take you a little bit back to your childhood because who we were in our childhood and the lessons we received, the
Hmm.
love we got, but also the pain we received will shape us. And I want
Yeah.
to explore with you whether there is a link, there is a thread from that time to today. And then we can educate our audience through that. Is that okay with you?
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds great.
Okay. So you grew up in Miami, am I correct?
Grew up in Miami.
How would you describe your childhood?
So I had great parents. They were married until my father passed away. They loved each other. They were each other's soulmates. I had an amazing house that I grew up in. I had a brother that was 6 years younger than me. And so we weren't super close growing up because of the age difference. But yeah, I had an amazing childhood. I'm so glad I grew up in Florida at the time in Miami. I don't think I'd want to go back there now, but it was great. I had amazing friends. Some of them I'm still in contact with daily. I have two of my really good friends I've known since the sixth grade. It's crazy. And we still go on vacations together and we are texting every day together. So I've like maintained really great friends through my childhood that I still have. Yeah. And then I went to college in Miami and loved college days. I lived in South Beach. And I'm surprised I graduated sometimes because I was out 7 nights a week at bars and having a good time. Um, yeah, I loved college. And then right after college, I moved to New York City. And I just said I was doing it. I had a job. I got a job that was paying no money, hardly. My friend and I drove a U-Haul truck up with my furniture to New York. And I didn't have an apartment whenever I first got there. I
You
had to
did not
find an
have an
apartment.
apartment.
No, I had 2 days to find an apartment. And so
I love that. You
I
just
found it.
jumped into your new life. You just parachuted
Yeah,
yourself into your new life without having any safeties and any securities. And you're like, okay, we're making it or breaking it.
I had a job. I flew up and did an interview and I had a job and I knew what I was making. I knew what my budget was for an apartment and I sold my car in Miami and so I had some cash, but I didn't realize how expensive New York was. And I found an apartment. I was lucky I found an apartment. It was a fourth floor walk up and it was a studio apartment and it was on the Upper East Side. And whenever I signed the lease, I didn't even know what the Upper East Side was. Like, I didn't know if it was a good neighborhood or a bad neighborhood. I knew nothing about it. I just knew I could afford the apartment. I knew it was near a subway, and that's all I knew. And I had two friends help me move my furniture up 4 flights of stairs. I had 150 pairs of shoes that were in boxes that they had to help me carry up. So that was a lot on its own. And I made it, and I was so happy to be in New York. And I met people right away. I met when I moved there, I also did not want a relationship at all. I wanted to be single. I wanted to explore the city, go on dates, and I, of course, met somebody 3 months after I moved there, and I'm still with him 27 years later. So it's crazy.
That is
Yeah.
spectacular. You see, you are manifesting and you are describing what I believe we should all do. Follow our passion,
Yep.
have some roots wherever we're going, and believe in the greatest roots that keep us stable is ourself. What we have in our mind, what we have in our heart, and what we believe in our soul. It
Yeah.
is a bit like following your intuition, but also being aware of your cognitive power and your mental abilities. And when you bring all those things together and you trust the universe, then life delivers you exactly where you need to be. That is an amazing story, especially the 27-year relationship. That
Yeah.
spectacular how fast you found each other and you've kept this relationship going all those years at a time that relationships are really in a crisis.
And we have done 18 moves together in 27 years because of my job, because of I've taken different jobs. We lived in Switzerland for a year and then moved back to New York and moved to Boston, he lived in Miami for a little while. We moved to Miami and bought a house for a while. We have lived in Atlanta. We've lived so many places. And it's always because I've got this new job and we take the adventure and we do it. And I'm very lucky that I found somebody that will go with my craziness and like go on these adventures with me. So I'm lucky.
But this is love, right? It's
Oh,
unconditional.
it's love. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like, there's some people that are, I think meant to be in relationships and some people that I think are okay with not. Both of our parents were together until like his mother just passed away in November and my father passed away like years ago. But our parents were together. And I think like we both had that same family values growing up. And we just, we were his mom and dad loved me. My mom and dad loved him. His grandfather and grandmother loved me. Like our families love each other. And being part of being gay and in the LGBTQ plus community, you never know because some families like you come out to your families and they don't ever talk to you again. And we are so lucky that like my father loved him as much as he loved me. So it's just and his father and mother would call me their son. I mean, they're like I'm their family. And I'm just so fortunate in that.
You're definitely fortunate, but I think that we also manifest in our lives, we bring in our lives what we think we deserve. And what we think we deserve is instilled in us by the time we're 5 years old. Those first 5 years of our lives are so impactful and they can denote the rest of our lives. You
Yeah.
must have felt a lot of love, and a lot of love was shown to you because you saw your parents going through difficulties but hold each other and
Yeah.
believe in each other and resolve issues and problems together. That is probably the basis of your good relationship with your partner. And from what I'm hearing from you, your partner had a very similar experience. So you
Yeah.
came from a very fertile and loving home, and you were able to create the same together. And as you said, through those international moves, and I'm guessing some moves within the US,
Yeah.
you didn't allow the move, the difficulties, the newness of every move, and the insecurities, the fears that are embedded in them to change your love. Your love was always the ground you're building everything, no matter whether you were in Boston or Miami or Switzerland or Asia, it stayed the same.
Yeah. I mean, we always looked at it in a positive way where we're like, this is a new adventure. Like, let's go and meet new people. Let's experience new restaurants. When we moved to Switzerland, we basically said, we're in Central Europe and every weekend we can take a flight 1 hour or get in a train for 2 or 3 hours and go to a different country. And we explored more of Europe in that 1 year that we lived there than we would have in our whole life. And we got to experience so many different cultures and just it was so amazing to be able to do that. And I couldn't imagine doing that on my own. Like if I lived alone, I think it would have been, a little more it would have been more scary to move to Switzerland, not knowing anyone and just doing this. But yeah, it was an amazing adventure and like all these other moves I wouldn't have probably done by myself either. I mean, maybe I would have. Went to New York by myself, so who knows? But as you get older, you need that support. So
Yes, that's true. We all need support, no matter what age we're at.
yeah,
We often forget that we are very social beings, that humans have achieved to leave the caves we're used to live in thousands of years ago and live in technologically advanced homes because we supported each other and we learned from
yeah,
each other. And that's where our society has a few issues lately. We become very individualistic. we don't
Mhm.
value love. We don't believe that people
Yeah.
can be on our side and support us, be affectionate towards us in the way that is truly supportive and loving to us. So you are a manifestation of quite the opposite. I wanted to ask you, in your childhood, was there a particular experience? Was there a moment that is very well ingrained in you that led you to leave a very good and stable corporate job that I'm guessing was paying you pretty well in the pharmaceutical and biotech world and create something that's a passion project? It's a soul revealing endeavor.
I think that my father was very much an entrepreneur kind of through his life, where he always, I mean, he had a corporate job as well, um, but he always had things going on the side. And he always wanted to like do something better for the family. And I never felt that I was an entrepreneur until the last 6 months or so. Whenever I'm like, I kept thinking, I want to do this podcast full time. This is what I want to do. This is what I love. I want to do it. But I've got benefits and a 401k and I make great money with this corporate job. So it's so difficult to leave. And now I look back, it's only been 3 or 4 weeks that I've left my corporate job. I wake up every day and I'm like, I could not imagine having to wake up and go and sit on Zoom calls all day in meetings talking about all that stuff that you do in the corporate world. And I am so happy that I made this jump. I made the decision. I'm making it work. And my husband supports me, my family supports me in my decision. And yeah, I just think, I just want my podcast to grow and, I want it to, it's, I feel very like I have manifested. I feel lucky where my podcast is at now, where I can actually, it gives me a nice lifestyle with how I get paid for it. But, I still want more with it. I want it to grow more. And I want to be that, there's a lot of big podcasters out there, and that's what I'm hoping I'll be one day. So
I'm sure you will.
I
Look
hope
what
so.
you have already done in your life. Why wouldn't you? Your past, where you started, how you went through life, how you took risk and you succeeded, is definitely indicating that you have the power to go
Yeah.
through that and
Yeah.
achieve your goals. And I also feel that when our passion project involves helping others, then our universe, brings the wind on our back and it just help us be
Yeah.
delivered to our favorite outcome a little bit easier and faster.
Yeah. I mean, and the people that come on my podcast are really amazing people because they all have a story of being a survivor or doing something good for the world or just being a kind person. Like I try to stay away from politics in my podcast. I don't want to bring any of that in there. I really try to bring people in that I want to be friends with or that I think that are interesting. And that's what I think has made my show. I mean, I've had everything from a woman that was married for 17 years and her husband cheated on her with a man, came home from a trip in London and told her. 2 months later, he said, "Oh, by the way, I have to tell you something else. I've been cheating on you for the last 10 years with hundreds of people." She then took that, and her life is so amazing now. She has her own podcast, her own business. She is thriving. She is a survivor. She is an amazing woman. And she was one of the first 20 people I interviewed in my podcast. And I appreciate her so much. And then I just interviewed a guy that I actually know who at 52 years old, he told his wife and 3 kids that he was gay. And now he is living his authentic life. And to imagine having to tell somebody that you've been married to for 25 years that you have not been living your real, and then he had to tell his parents and he had to tell his in-laws. But now that he's living his full life, and when the podcast came out, he sent me the nicest text saying, "I'm no longer scared to be who I really am because of this podcast."
Oh, I love
And,
that.
and it broke my heart. Like I felt so good about it. So And I just like, there's people that have been in cults that survive cults that I talk to. And it just, the people that have gone through being tortured in their life and now are so strong and they're giving back to people and they want to help people. It just makes me so happy that I can like tell their story.
That's wonderful. The stories of transformation, the
Hmm.
stories where we support each other, we help each other, they always give me goosebumps, and
Yeah.
I feel that they touch our souls in a different way. They're empowering. They can inspire others to do what they thought was impossible. And it has been actually scientifically proven that once someone breaks a barrier
Yeah.
that no one else thought could be done, then hundreds of people will do it because that performance, that action is ingrained and is present in our universe. So more people can tap into the energy.
Yeah.
But the first person who pokes through the veil and says, I want more in my life, that is the person that has been through the greatest challenges. For the rest of us who do the same, the
Yeah.
path is a little bit laid for us. It's a little bit more prepared.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. You're doing a great job helping people, inspiring them, making them have a voice, and giving them the experience and the certainty that what they want is possible because other people have done it.
Yeah. I mean, it's taught me the people that I meet teach me so much, so many things. I mean, before I started doing this podcast, I didn't necessarily believe in religion so much, but I didn't believe in reincarnation either. And I have to say, now that I have met with so many mediums and psychics and people that are spiritual, 100% it's reincarnation. Like that is what happens. We are, and I mean, that's what I believe now. And I never would have thought that before I met the people that I've interviewed. I've changed my way of thinking. I don't want to die, but I'm not scared to die because I know that my energy and my soul is going to continue. And it makes me feel there's a lot of comfort there. Knowing that my father died, my mother-in-law died. I know that they're, together now in this other world and that one day I'll be there. And I think that we all get reincarnated and come back in our next life together. Maybe not in the same roles, but in different roles. So I just things like that I've learned from people. And it just changed my whole way of thinking. And people that have sent me messages that listen to my podcast, I've changed their way of thinking too. And it just some of the messages I get where people are like, I'm not scared to die anymore because I heard the podcast that you did with this person. And I understand we come back one day. I mean, nobody wants to die, but it's just like you're not scared of it. You're not scared. I don't know how I'm gonna die, but I'm not scared once I die. Like that's what I'm not scared about.
That's beautiful. We had an energy reading together. I
Yes.
read your energy and you allowed me. It was a privilege to come into your energy. And you were so open about it. It was, I think, 2 weeks ago. Do you want to talk a little bit about this experience?
Yes, because you didn't know anything about me or what I was thinking or nothing. And I have to say, whenever I left that, when we ended our call, I could not believe. So there were specific things. You got very specific on certain things. There was one thing you didn't know that I left my corporate job because I just left my corporate job when we did this reading. And you said to me, don't worry about insurance or money or bills. It's all going to be okay. And the thing is that the insurance, not having corporate insurance was one of the things. And you said exactly that. That was like one of the first things you said. Don't worry about the insurance. And I'm like, how would she know this? And just throughout the entire reading, you brought up, I didn't tell you what I wanted to know. You just said, oh, what you're doing is going to be big and successful. And you gave me relief about thinking, is this podcast going to continue to maintain my lifestyle and stuff? And you were so positive. You were so right on. I could feel your energy. You could feel mine, obviously. And there was such a connection. And like, even like the next morning when I woke up, I remember like, you were like the first thing I thought about that day. Cause I just like, the energy was still there with me. And there was just some type of bond. And I remember just telling my aunt, I called my aunt that day and I said, this woman Maria is like a next level. Like there's something about her that I just connect with. Like I'm like she's somebody that I wish lived in Boston so I could like go and hang out with her and have brunch with her every day and like be her friend like in person. So it was you were just the accuracy that you had and the things that you brought up without knowing who I was it was phenomenal. Like I just you have a gift and it's amazing that you were able to share that with me and I'm so thankful for it.
Oh, thank you. I want to talk a little bit about how that works. And I believe that we haven't talked about that, but I believe that you have always been able to listen to your intuitive power. For
Yeah.
some reason, you are always connected with your intuition. And I truly believe that we're all born intuitive.
Yeah.
That's the reason we can survive, and not all infants are found in a beautiful, loving environment where all their needs are met. But somehow, most of us survive our infancy and our childhood,
Yeah.
and that is instinct. But then, as we go through schooling, people tell us if you cannot see it, if you cannot prove it, you cannot believe it, and that's how we lose our intuitive power. How did this happen to me? How did I realize I had this gift? When I was very young, I would always hear this voice that was telling me where I should be and what I should do. And it was about don't trust his friend. And I wouldn't listen because I wasn't taught that I can listen to my intuitive voice. I was told that if it doesn't prove, if it's not proven, you cannot believe it.
Hmm.
And then I would realize that the more I was not listening, the more I was in pain because people would betray me or I would not do what I really wanted to do. And the path I was going down was not working for me. So that voice told me to become a therapist at 9. That voice told me that I had to go to the UK and study. That voice told me that I had to have a child very early in life. I had him when I was 25, and thank God I would not have had a child after that because I got so busy with life,
Yeah.
work, and exploring the world. And then that voice started becoming stronger when I was 35, 34. So I started having visions. I would just sit there and I would have a vision, or I would be sitting with people and I would feel what they're feeling and I would see things for them. And people would say, I've never said this to you. Even my clients, I would tell them, but your father did this when you were trying to say, it's true, but I have never shared this with you.
Yeah.
I started exploring it more and doing more readings. I was calling it channeling, and I don't know what it's called. Like, I feel like there is a channel opening, but I have my process of breathing and going into other people's energy. And I have to say that if people don't allow me to go there, I cannot. I would
Yeah.
never try to read anyone's energy because this is voyeurism if they don't allow me to go there. But people who are still holding on, then I can see very few things and it's segmented and it does not make sense. But you are so open. You were
Yeah.
so unafraid of the process. You were inviting this process and my energy. You felt safe to open up that I was able to see a lot, and I'm glad that it helped. I'm in a completely different brainwave when I am in this energy, so I don't remember a lot. I remembered a lot after I came out of it, and I shared it with you. But then after a few days, you go into different brain waves. It's
Yeah.
forgotten, and I also think that spirit and universe wants us to forget because this is very private and it belongs to you. I should not be carrying this information until you invite me to do another reading for you. But I want to tell people that what is missing in our world, and one of the reasons that a lot of us are suffering and we're in pain, is because we don't listen to that voice. We all
Mhm.
have it. And if we have crushed it at some point because we're told off when we believed in it, we can, through meditation and through therapy, feel safe again to start listening and connecting the dots, seeing what works and what doesn't work, will actually deliver us to the life that we deserve and we desire. So I would invite anyone that is listening to start having a spiritual intuitive practice where you turn your attention inwards instead of outwards, and probably have a journal, write down what you heard and then see the pattern. pattern recognition is such a big theme
Yeah.
nowadays. And then you will know what to believe and what not to believe. The last thing I want to say, and I think that you know that very well because you have practiced it, is that when we're afraid, our fear is the strongest emotion that any human can
Mhm.
feel in this world.
Yeah.
So our fear is going to block our intuition. And sometimes we think that our intuition says, no, don't do it, it's dangerous. But actually, we're listening to our fear. So before you start listening to what your spirit, what your soul is telling you, you need to clear yourself from fear because this is the
Yeah.
only way to truly have this connection with your soul and spirit.
Yeah. I mean, before I decided to do this podcast as a full-time job, I had so much anxiety about it. And I had to, like, you're right, I had to like get rid of all the fear and the anxiety and just do it. And I feel like I'm such a better person today now that I've made that decision and the fear is gone and I'm going with the flow. That's how I'm doing it.
Yeah, it is. It is so important to be able to understand which fear is rational and which fear is real, and we need to amend our
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah.
How do you connect with your intuition? Because I know you're very intuitive. I know you're listening to your passions and to your voice, and that's why you've had this wonderful trajectory.
I mean, I've always used my intuition, I think, because with people I know or friends or things that are happening, in my corporate job or relationships or anything, I've always listened to it and it's never been wrong. Whenever I meet someone, I know right away if we're going to be friends within 2 minutes. Like I know if they're my type of person or not. Whenever I was interviewing people to come work for me in my corporate job, within 2 minutes of them sitting down, I knew right away if I was going to hire them or not. And I just knew. And I go with my gut feeling. And if I feel something is off, I have to I don't know, 27 years, your relationship is not always amazing. Like you have ups and downs sometimes. And the times that we did have downs and stuff, like I felt something was off. And I'm the over communicator where I'm like, I want to talk through this, like what's going on, let's fix it. And we did. And that's why we've been together for so long. I mean, I think I really do kind of stop sometimes and I try to do it daily and just meditate and just come into myself and just kind of take in and just show the universe that I'm grateful for what I have. Like I really try to do that every night before I go to sleep. I just kind of pause, reflect back on what I have and how great things are. And if they're not great, like trying to manifest what I want to happen and really just try to be that positive person. And it's seems to work for me for the way I'm doing it. But I think it's important to kind of just pause every day. And the world's so busy and everybody's so busy doing things and the world's going a million miles an hour. But to kind of stop and reflect and just connect with yourself internally, I think is so important to do.
Wonderful. So if I am to systematize it for people who are listening, let me see if I heard you correctly. You have a meditative practice where you
Mhm.
shut out the noise, you
Yep.
go inwards, where you can
Yes.
listen to your soul, to your intuitive wisdom. And from that place, you identify the steps that you need to take. You can feel and also act upon what your partner wants. And you are the person who, in this relationship, has assumed the role of regluing you together when
Yeah.
we go a little bit down our separate paths, our individual paths. That is beautiful. I want to just give a little bit of information to our audience about relationships. You're absolutely right. Love can be there, communication can be there, but we will go through more difficult, rough patches with our partner, especially on a very long relationship like
Yeah.
yours. Because even if we're single, if we're alone, life still has difficulties. But when we are together, we can lean on each other, listen to each other, truly try to deliver what the other person needs at any given moment without losing ourselves. And relationships are about bringing my world and the other person's world together, integrating them, whilst at the same time holding on to our own individuality. We
Yeah.
don't want to be lost in a relationship. We want to enhance each other as we're going along, as we're becoming our own people. You met so young. Of course, everything has changed in the last 27 years about who you are today and who your partner is, and appreciating it, loving them
Yeah.
for that, seeing them glow as they are evolving and developing into the person that they want to be, and have time with each other whilst we're going through our separate paths, but also our common path.
Yeah. I mean, we're the same in a lot of ways, but we are so different in so many ways too. And I think that like I can go on vacation with my friends without him and he's okay with it. I mean, we do our vacations together and holidays together, of course, too. But once a year, his best friend, him and his friend Jason, they go on a vacation together without me. I go with my friend Jen once a year on a vacation without him. And we're fine with that. And it's good to have that individual time alone. Like we don't have to be together every day, every minute. So at the end of the day, when I'm done with my day, I go to my bedroom and close the door, and I need like a half an hour to myself with nobody talking to me, nobody calling me, no texting, just to kind of like wind down for the day. And he knows not to come in there and bother me at that time. But then, like afterwards, we'll have dinner, we'll go out, we'll do whatever, watch TV together, go see a movie, whatever. So we just know each other's ways of working so well, and that's why it works.
You respect each other's needs and
Yes.
individuality, and then you always know you have the safety, the emotional and mental safety, that you will always come together. And
Yeah.
this is one of the secrets of your successful relationship. That is one.
Yeah. It's important to be your individual self, but love somebody at the same time. That's how we made it work.
And it is possible. And this is the key to every successful relationship. To not lose ourselves, but to
Yeah.
create a life with the person that we truly love.
Yeah. My mother tells me we're lucky we found each other because nobody else would want us. So she's like, you guys are found that you're in the perfect relationship because you love each other and nobody else would take your shit is the way that so I feel
That
very
is that is empowering and a little bit critical at the same time, but
yeah,
it's said with a lot of love, so that's what
it
you
is.
get. Yes.
My mother loves him. So I'm yeah, I'm going to see my mother in a couple of months and just for like 4 days and he's not coming. It's the first time he's not coming and she's upset about it. So she loves him that much where she's like, he should come. I'm like, Mom, he's got to work. He's got things to do. He can't come. So, but yeah,
That's so nice. You
yeah,
see, all the love around you, you love each other, but there is a lot of love supporting you. You have
yes,
this circle of empowering love, care, and affection, people that are routing for the two of you. And that energy is an energy that you're a lot more likely to thrive as an individual and as a couple. And not all of us have it, but I'm glad that you have created this in your life. And you see, because you came from love and you believed you were loved and a spectacular person, you also attracted someone in your life who
yeah,
was loved, believes should be loved, and is capable of bringing love. We don't all have the wonderful experiences that the two of you had in our childhoods, but I want to tell people that you can create it. You
yeah,
can change, you can alchemize the pain that you have into your own power, and you can become love yourself. And when you're all love, there is only one way forward. You will attract love. But
yeah,
if you are beating yourself up with difficult thoughts and critical ideas about who you are, then that's what you're going to attract. We don't realize and we think it's woo-woo. It isn't, it's
yeah,
neuroscience. Whatever constellation you have in your brain, your neurons come together that have the same thought. For example, I'm amazing, I'm loving, I can love people, or I am terrible, no one will love me, no one will tolerate me. So, whatever constellation of neurons you're creating in your brain that create a circuit, then from that circuit, there's another one of the same level of thought. So, if it is loving, if it's empowering, that's who you become, and that's what your life exhibits. But if you're critical and if you keep seeing less and less possibility, then you're actually gonna be shrinking your life and your energy as you go along. But you can change it. There is a possibility of intervention. And everything starts with a decision. The decision to break a bad habit of thinking bad about ourselves and
Yeah.
and go into a life where we find our skills, our great mojos, and we keep enhancing them and we keep thinking that all the time. And that's how you manifest and that's how you attract exactly what you want. And I
Yeah.
think that you're a master at that, Zach.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, I feel very happy with my life, and yeah, this is where I feel like I should be at right now in my life. So, like, where I'm at and what I'm doing is where I feel like I should be.
That is beautiful. I want to thank you so much for being with us and sharing your life, your thoughts, your passion, your vision for the future. And I want to thank you for creating a safe space for people in the LGBT community to feel safe, to find their voice, and to get information and advice from you. What do you want to leave our audience with? What do you think we haven't covered, or what inspiring thoughts you want to give them?
I think my biggest thing now is that the world is kind of in a crazy spin right now where things are not amazing. And just think about being more kind to people. Just be kind to the world. And because once you're kind to somebody, it really is contagious. And then somebody else is kind. And I just think we need more kindness and more people to be nice in the world. And that's what I hope the world is. And that's what I hope your podcast and my podcast does, is bring more of that joy to people.
I couldn't agree more. It's the paying forward, right? I am
Yeah.
kind to you, then that kindness warms up your heart and opens up your
Yep.
soul, and then you can be kind to someone else. Yes, I agree, and I emphasize what you said. I amplified. Please be kinder. Please find love in you for you, and then for other people around you. We all need a helping hand and someone to hold our hand as we're going through life.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Zach. It has
Thank
been,
you. I wish your podcast is so, I know it's going to be a super success, and I'm so thankful that you let me be your first guest, because you are such an amazing person. And I can't, in 10 years from now, whenever you're a big podcaster, I can't wait to like come in on your show in person when you have a big studio and all that. So thank you so much for having me on.
thank you. You're wonderful. Thank you for your kind words. And this is the end of our first episode. Thank you so much, Zach, and thank you to everyone listening. Goodbye from us.